So you're a real estate pro in Colorado, and you just realized your license is expired. That little bit of panic? Yeah, we get it. But don't worry, we're going to cut right through all the confusion and give you a super clear step-by-step guide to get your license back on track. Okay, so that expiration date flew by, and now you're wondering, what do I do? The first thing to know is don't panic. The Colorado Division of Real Estate has a very specific process for this, but honestly, it can be a little confusing. So let's walk through it together so you know exactly what's coming. All right, the first thing you absolutely need to know is that getting back to business isn't just one single action. It's actually a two-part journey. And the very first stop on that journey is something called reinstatement. So let's dive into what that word actually means in this context. So what exactly is reinstatement? Well, according to the Division of Real Estate, or the DRE, it's just the official process of applying to change your license status. But the key here is to pay really close attention to what it's changing from and what it's changing to. Okay, this is probably the single most important thing to understand, so listen up. When you reinstate your license, it moves from expired to inactive. Notice what it doesn't say? Active. That's right. Even after you successfully reinstate, you still cannot legally practice real estate. This is just the first necessary step. Now, before we even talk about step 2, there's a huge deadline we need to put on your radar. When it comes to reinstatement, a clock starts ticking the second your license expires. And trust me, this is a deadline you really, really don't want to miss. This is the magic number, 3. You get exactly 3 years from the date your license expired to file for reinstatement. Not a day longer. This is a hard and fast deadline set by the DRE. And you do not want to find out what happens if you miss this. The DRE rules are crystal clear. If you let those 3 years pass, reinstatement is no longer an option. You have to start from square one. And that means reapplying, requalifying, and yes, retaking the entire exam all over again. All right, so let's say you did it. You successfully reinstated your license well within that 3-year window. Your status is now inactive. So what's next? Now we move on to the second and final step to get you back to closing deals: activation. Right, so you've done the paperwork, paid the fee, and your license is now safely sitting in inactive status. But you can't work with an inactive license, right? To actually use it, you have to take one more crucial step, and that's submitting a totally separate application to move it from inactive to active. The good news is, this part is pretty simple. All you have to do is log into your online DRE account, look for the application called Transfer, Activate, Inactivate License, and just fill it out. The main thing you're going to need handy is your current errors and omissions insurance info. Okay, let's talk money. How much is this all going to cost? And then after that, we'll do a super quick recap to make sure everything is crystal clear. So here are the numbers, straight from the Division of Real Estate. The reinstatement fee actually depends on how long your license has been expired. If it's been under a year, you're looking at about $376. If it's been more than a year but still less than 3, that fee jumps up to $501. But look at the bright side. That final activation step is only $5. And just a quick but really important heads up about those fees. The DRE is very clear that once you pay them, that's it. They are non-refundable. So you definitely want to make sure you have all your ducks in a row before you hit that submit button. So let's boil this all down one last time. It's a 2-part path. Part 1 is to reinstate your license from expired to inactive, and you got to do it within those 3 years. Part 2 is to activate that inactive license so you can get back to an active practicing status. Simple as that. And there you have it. That's the complete roadmap from expired all the way back to active. The process has some very specific rules, but it's totally manageable. By focusing on these 2 key steps, first reinstatement, then activation, you now have exactly what you need to know to get your real estate career right back on track.